where that comes from. Also, Coach Fields was my middle school cross country coach. He was my high school track and cross country coach. Coach Fields always would encourage you. He would always cheer you on. He would always try to provide whatever it was that you needed to be successful. I can still hear Coach Fields right now. You can beat them! Pump them arms! So I can hear Coach Fields from center of the midfield cheering you on. Even when you were at your wits' end, Coach Fields, you can hear that voice. So Coach Fields had a major impact on me. Now had a major impact on me then, and still to this day. You see me running around town. The origin is Coach Fields, but the other person is Trojan Dave man. He's the epitome of running in Portsmouth to me. I don't think anybody in this town has more miles under their belt or on the roads of Portsmouth than Trojan Dave. And when I was in middle school, my mom made me go run with him. I had to go run with Trojan Dave because if you want to be the best or you want to be better, you got to train with people who are better than you. So, and even today, if he sees me and I'll put on a few pounds, he's going to get on me. So you always have to have people to hold you accountable to being in shape, being better, knowing what the standard is so they can keep you up to par.
Sounds great. Okay, so with that being said, I mean, I heard you say T-ball, running, cross country, track, basketball. So not necessarily what was first in terms of the sport that you played first, but in terms of what you would consider your first love. Like when you go back and you think about it, like this really kind of gets me out the bed. This gets me motivated. This is something that's embedded in me. Like I love basketball. You love basketball, but your first love, what would you consider?
CAY.
The CAY was first.
Hey, before I answer that question, I see one of our Benham League teammates is on here, Luke Daniel. What's up, Luke? Purdue Boilermakers.
Yes.
Purdue Boilermakers, Luke Daniel. The first love, if it comes to sports, it's been in shape. It's been in shape. It's not one sport. It's being in shape. Meaning that no matter what sport you are playing, if you can be the best conditioned athlete out there, that gives you an advantage over pretty much everybody else that you're competing against. So to this day, being in shape, even though I don't play sports anymore, being physically fit and in shape is the most important thing to me.
So
and I think it's a prerequisite for every sport that you play.
I like it. So it's great to see the interaction with the people on live right now, where you got people chiming in on. We're live right now on YouTube, and we're also live on Facebook. So don't hesitate to chime in and let us know your thoughts. Those that grew up with my friend Joe Greene and my friend Ray Robinson, aka DJ Barrow. We'll definitely interact with each and every one of you as well.
And they can join the live stream.
Absolutely. So hey, if you got the time, go ahead and we'll invite you and we'll bring you on, and we'll add you to the podcast.
If you don't mind me bouncing back to Benham League, because I see Luke Daniels up there. Shout out to Luke Daniel. We were 1-12 that year. But with that being said, we upset the number 1 seed that year.
You remember
who we upset him? Luke Daniel.
Luke Daniel.
Luke Daniel carrying us on.
Okay.
And before I can never get away from the Green Boys. Every year they're on my team. I don't know what it was, but I was on their team every year, and Luke Daniel was too. I can remember some of the past teammates we had. Rest in peace, Quentin Hamrick. Arthur Barnes, he double pumped at the 3-point line. You know what I mean? Like, we had some characters on our team, man, but I wouldn't take it back for nothing, man. That's how I was introduced to the Green Boys. And that's where Mama Green and Papa Green kind of took me under their wing. And I just remember, man, sneaking out the window, going to these betting league games because I got that disciplinary slip in the mail. My mom didn't play that. You know, I had a young mom. She was in shape. So you get a whooping, she gonna wear you out. Because he was in shape. Now, she didn't run like Jew-bugging him. But, you know, I was sneaking out the window, man. And with that being said, I didn't have time to lotion up. So, you know what time it was when I got to McKinley School. I hit that bathroom, get up under that water, stretch them legs. Nobody told me. A little science class here. Now water turns to ashes.
That is a
I
science
was in there.
project.
He was in there,
right
Gray.
No, I tell you what, man. I wouldn't take it back for nothing, man. You know, Bantam League with the Green Boys.
So let me ask you this, would you consider yourself a bandwagon fan? Like, I see you got the Lakers hat on. I can't imagine. I'm trying to think who you like growing up. You was a Lakers fan?
It's always been Magic Johnson for me.
Magic Johnson?
Number one.
That was the number one.
Number one.
Who'd you like best? NBA?
I'm Lakers.
Laker fan? Okay. Bengals?
Bengals,
Who'd you
Lakers.
like that?
It starts with a B. I'm gonna keep it.
He's a bear.
I'm a bear bingo.
No, he's real. He's real then.
I'm a bear bingo. But these days, if I buy a jersey, I'm whoever I want to be that day.
Right.
I mean, who sets the rules and laws? Like, once you pick a team, that's your squad. That's integrity, but sometimes I can't spell that word, so therefore, I got it. So my boys do I want to be my boys. I do a Larry McGinnis.
Always winning. So, okay, if that's the case, going back to the well-conditioned athletes, when you look at the professional athletes, even the high school athletes, collegiate athletes, even the two groups that you're coaching right now, meaning the 8th grade boys team and that 6th grade group, what's one of the things that stands out about them in terms of each squad? Like, what makes them special in your eyes? Because if y'all don't know, that 8th grade group just came off of an OVC undefeated championship. Yeah, we flexing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Coached by who?
And they're coached by Mr. Joe Greene, yours truly right here next to me. And also that 6th grade group just came off of undefeated, and they won their league out there in South Webster.
Coached by who?
And they're also coached by Mr. Joe Greene. So it's one thing if conditioning sets them apart. I'm not for sure. I'm sure you've seen the day ins and outs of them. So compare and contrast the 8th grade team, how long you've been with them, and the 6th grade team, and how long you've been with them as well. What makes each group in particular special in your eyes?
Well, first of all, I would just like to thank all of the parents, the players, Coach Kevin Monroe, who's been with me coaching for the last 2 years at the middle school. Also Jeremy Green, who helped me coach this year with the 6th grade group. I would just like to just thank those guys, thank the parents for their support, for allowing me to be trusted with their children, which your child is the most valuable thing that you can have. Thank the school for the opportunity, and for those parents, grandparents, family members. So just a big thank you to them, and thank you to the community for your support of those young men as they accomplish those goals this year. So that's first and foremost. Thank you, and thank you. And much more success to those two groups of young men. But specifically, the makeup of those two teams are similar in some ways, but they're different in some ways. The 6th grade group, they've been together a while longer as a collective group. They all have been playing basketball for a little while longer, since they were in the 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. So they have been around basketball a lot longer. They've been playing as a collective unit a lot longer. Many of those individuals play AAU basketball, travel basketball. So they have a very, very competitive nature. They have very, very high basketball IQ, and from top to bottom, 1 through 12, on both teams, they are all very intelligent young men. They are competitors. They compete. Regardless of the situation, they'll compete. And especially with the 6th grade group as well as my 8th grade group, they've seen their share of adversity. And you never really know how tough of a competitor you are until you have to face adversity. Everybody's great when everything's going good.
Right.
But what separates an individual and what separates a team is how do you respond when you're faced with adversity. And I can say from personal experience this year, our 8th grade team was down 14 points in the championship game at halftime.
Wow.
And continued to compete and showed adversity when they could have folded. But through resiliency and continuing to compete, they completed an undefeated season as regular season champions and tournament champions as they enter into high school. The 8th grade team or the 6th grade team, I mean, they've learned how to win together.
Right.
Ups and downs. They are very, very coachable kids. That's one thing about that group is that group is very high. They have a high basketball IQ.
Right.
They can make adjustments in game without me even saying anything. They are very, very. They have good relations with one another. They have a great parent group behind them. And that's one thing about coaching at the lower levels. You can build relationships with families and parents at an early stage. So both of those groups, the sky's the limit for them. The biggest thing is always lead with is ABC: attitude, behavior, and a synonym, conduct. Those 3 things can either propel you to higher levels or set you back. So that's my message to those 2 groups, because what I've discovered this year is that no matter where you go, no matter where you might find yourself at on a basketball court, in the public, people are always watching you. And it's important that your attitude is correct. It's important that your conduct and your character is above par, and that you find yourself continuing to excel on and off the court. Attitude, academics are the A's, behavior, and then conduct and character would be ABC. So that's my message to those 2 groups, and the sky's the limit for them.
Gerald, I heard you mention 2 names, but one really stuck out with me was Kevin Moreau. Kevin Moreau's been around the community for a long time. He just didn't pop in the last couple years.
Absolutely.
Kevin, me and Junebug during Bantam League, not Bantam League, I'm sorry, the Classics, Bantam League Classics. Me and Jeremy, I'm sorry. We would go around and fundraise and try to get jerseys, And Kevin Moreau was just established at Kevin Moreau's, and we were on foot. That's the first place, first business. If you walk south, that's where you're going to hit first. Mm-hmm. And Kevin was, I wouldn't say he was eager, but he didn't mind helping out some young brothers.
Right.
Because I came in there with that pitch, But he allowed me to go to Larry Moore Sporting Goods, shop Larry Moore Sporting Goods, and with a blank check. Now, I'm not saying I took advantage, but usually when you sponsor someone, you get the basic essentials: jersey, shorts.
Right.
Well, I took up a level. I got headbands, wristbands, socks, and then I was getting everybody's shoe size, and that's when Larry Moore stopped me. And he said, I got to get Kevin on the horn here. He called Kevin. He said, Kevin, He's got the jersey, he got the shorts. He's got warm-up shirts too, socks. Now he's looking at shoes. Kevin said that's where it stops at. Hey,
He's trying to get the shoes.
I'm trying to get the shoes, man.
Come on, man.
Shout out to Kevin Monroe's, man. He'll take care of you. You got a collision, go see Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin Monroe. I like it. Nah, he's good people. He's great people.
Absolutely. Great people, man.
So, hey, I want to ask this, man, as a quote-unquote volunteer assistant coach, man, I was a nervous wreck in that OVC championship game. So what is it like as a coach? You know, it's one thing you can impact the game itself when you playing. You know, when y'all play, when Shine played, when you played, you know, you was coming in with piping hot defense. Bob was coming in, he was firing away. He was letting it fly. But as far as when you a coach, it's a whole different aspect. Do you get nervous in the moment, in pregame, in particular in that OVC championship game? We're down 14 points.
Man.
I gotta admit, I couldn't come in the locker room at halftime, man. I just couldn't be around.
6-minute quarters.
I was trying to unplug from, you know, everything. So to be able to try to instill in the kids to be calm and cool under pressure. Your son Joe Greene the third.
No.
I mean, he's
That's July Bug.
July Bug. My bad. July Bug. He's as cool as the other side of the pillow when it comes to. You would never know if they was down 20, up 20. But as far as like yourself personally as a coach, what is your emotions like as a coach? Not just the OVC game, championship game, but just in general.
They're all over the place. It just depends on the situation. That's really an honest assessment. Just depending on what the situation is, you know, what point of the season it is.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of emotions going on all the time. There's emotional highs, there's emotional lows, there's things that you're dealing with that may not even have anything to do with basketball. Right. But yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster as a coach, and that's one of the things that it's a learning experience, because in all situations you have to sort of learn through experience how to keep your emotions in check.
Okay.
Because as a coach, you can emotionally respond to situations that don't necessarily where an emotional response is not necessary. Instead of a logical response, it will be an emotional response. So emotionally as a coach, generally you want players and even your kids to take their cue from you. Right. So if you show nervousness or timidness, that's probably what they're going to reflect in their demeanor and their behavior. So calm and cool is usually the way that I try to carry myself.
You know, I had the privilege. I got to go to that game, and I sat by his brother. And it wasn't good in the stands, I can tell you that. Being down 14 points, 6-minute quarters.
Right.
I mean, hats off to those young men and coaching staff, because, I mean, I thought it was over.
Who were we playing?
We're playing
Ironton.
We played Ironton at Fairland.
At Fairland.
Right? Was it Fairland? Was it at Fairland? Yeah.
Playing against my little cousin.
Yeah, but I got to get my hats off to Coach Joe Greene, because, I mean, he was really into that game. You know what I mean? I loved it. Probably one of the best games I've seen in the last 20 years, to be honest with you.
That was a great game.
It was a great game. And I see Mrs. Green is commenting something.
Mm-hmm. So let's give a shout out to Mr. Tim Roth. I see your wife chiming in.
Oh, absolutely. That is so true. One, I'll touch on that just briefly. So the 8th grade group, actually, me being introduced to start coaching that group when they were third graders. Tim Roth was actually coaching his sons at that level,
right?
And he was the one who was already established at that level, at the bitty ball level, because there's no bitty ball system.
Right.
It's just all volunteers. So there's no commissioner. It's just jump in and get started.
Wow.
Tim Rolfe, absolutely, as well as he's involved in a lot of other things, baseball, soccer, basketball, but he has always been a willing, helping hand to myself and to young people in our community. So all of these kids that in our 8th grade group that started off at Portsmouth, he was very integral in establishing them and allowing them the opportunity to play basketball when they didn't know how to play basketball. so yes, my wife is very, very correct.
Tim Rolfe. Shout out to
Tim Rolfe. Also the pastor of Cornerstone. He is a great individual, always giving in the community, always helping me. He even called and gave me words of encouragement through the season, this season, coaching. So yes, my wife is absolutely correct.
Great. So, okay, while we're talking about that, just looking at the coaching bug that you have right now, what do you say is the real point of emphasis when it comes to how you feel about coaching? Like, do you feel like it's a environment right now, like almost in any given situation, you just love it right now? Is it a part of you? What is it about coaching right now that got you started, number one, and number two, is it a passion of yours, and why is it a passion of yours if it is?
Okay, first of all, I would say going back to the days when Tim Rolfe was in play, and these kids were 3rd and 4th graders, some 2nd graders maybe. Your coaching got a need. Your coaching got a need because
right.
You may not know this, but there's not a long line of individuals willing to sacrifice time with young kids at that level.
Right.
So it's not like there's a line full of people and you got to bust in the door. I heard one time there was a saying. Jesse Jackson was talking, and someone asked Jesse Jackson.
Cool as a rainbow.
Someone asked Jesse Jackson, what did it feel like, and how did you get to walk beside Dr. K? And his response was, the line wasn't that long. So my point is that when you're dealing with youth in sports, generally it's going to be the same individuals coaching every sport,
right,
because there's not going to be a lot to choose from. And so there will be a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of, we should do it this way, we should do it that way, but there will not be a lot of volunteers to actually invest time. So going back then, you're coaching out of need. But as you coach, my emphasis in coaching, it goes beyond coaching. More so it is to develop and invest in young men. That is the most important thing. That if you get those priorities, out of order, you can set yourself up for something wrong. The biggest thing is this. First of all, my first priority is to be a father. Nothing supersedes that. Coaching does not supersede me being a father and a husband. Secondly, it's always bigger than basketball. It's bigger than whatever sport you're doing, because you're having an impact on young people's lives. And so if you can keep that the clear focus in everything that you do, that's the main thing.
Okay, I want to kind of I want to stress that same talking point we talked about earlier before we got here. How do you deal with when it comes to like disagreements from whether it be the culture of the fandom or whether it be parents. You know, I feel like you're not playing Johnny enough, or not even a specific type of thing, more or less just when you have a coaching philosophy and how you implement things within your group, your collective, and then you may have people who just see things a different way. How do you address those type of concerns? If somebody has a question for you or concern about a specific thing within the dynamic of your group, how do you address those type of things? What advice would you give to those that do have? I mean, do you shun people that have critiques or criticisms or questions or concerns, or how do you even embrace that, or how would you go about answering that specific type of question?
Well, one, that's a good question. That's an awesome question, and that's a good place to start. One is, if you're coaching, you're in a public position. So that means everybody is not always going to agree with you. That's the first thing you have to understand. And the second thing you have to understand is they're not going to agree with you, and you can't please everybody. You're not going to be able to please everybody. So the basic thing is you want to make sure that your motives are pure and your motives are right by the kids. Now, everybody's not always going to agree, but I invite criticism. One is a critique. If you're wanting to get better at something, a critique allows you to think if you can do something better, but also if my motives aren't pure, it holds me accountable. So you should always be looking to hear critique and listen to critique, and also evaluate the critique. Is it a reasonable critique? Doesn't mean that you may change anything, but you should always be open to it. You're not above critique. And one of the things is you shouldn't get your feelings hurt. We're human beings, and people don't like when people talk about them or disagree with them, or maybe go on social media and down them. Or we're human beings, and that's part of being a human being is you have feelings. But one thing is you have to be able to sort of play above the fray, and you don't want to get drugged down into going back and forth with people, but you always want to leave the door open if there is criticism, if there is wrongdoing, to be held accountable. So that's the way I look at it. And again, the first thing that I will always lead with is attitude and behavior. That's the thing that I would lead with when it comes to my philosophy. Those are the most important things when it comes to that, developing young men. And if you're not doing that, you're just playing ball.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, hey, it's one thing to just be a coach and to be, the success that y'all have endured over the handful of years that you've been involved. But it's another thing to actually coach your sons. Like, you have a unique situation that is conducive to part of the success that you've been able to accumulate. And I just want you to give the audience a little bit of insight of what it's like, number one, to be a father, but also to be able to be a coach of what we affectionately call July Bug, which would be Joe Greene III, and August Bug, which would be Josiah. So what would you talk about your two sons, and also what it's like to be a coach of those two sons and a father of those two sons?
Well, both of my sons are blessings. That's the first thing I say about them. They're both blessings. I don't know what my life would be like without them. And it's a pleasure to be their father. They are both very intelligent young men, very gifted young men. And I don't have too many problems out of them. But being a father it trumps everything. Basketball never going to trump being a father. And I asked my two sons prior to me coming here, I asked my oldest son, what is the easiest thing and what's the hardest thing being coached by your father?
That's an interesting question. And what was the answer?
And the answer was, I'm going to be held to a higher standard in my attitude and my conduct than everybody else. And that's a fact. There's no option in that. And then the easiest thing that being a father or a son, he says, if I need something, you're going to be there. So
Absolutely.
that is great about my two sons. And my son Josiah, he has a different personality. He said the most difficult thing is, Dad, you take me out too much.
I like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do a little bit too much extra. You too extra. So yes, it's difficult for them. There's some things that are going to be difficult, but it's a blessing that I don't have to deal with extracurricular stuff
Right.
when I'm coaching them. They're model citizens.
That's great. Well, that's awesome in terms of just from the outside looking in and observing. I mean, they're tough kids when it comes to just on the court. So, but just as admirable, and it's also tip the cap to you, how admirable they are even off the court.
And I'll add, they're both honor roll students. They're both excel academically as well, and so I'm extremely proud of them in those regards.
Okay, so I had a question that came across before we did this interview, and it's in line with where they got their sports acumen, athleticism, whatever you want to call it, and you can kind of take the question however you want to. But I heard that their dad was a very, very much well-conditioned athlete, but I also heard, I can't necessarily say yay or nay, but I believe Mama, Miss Belinda Greene, your wife, also was an athlete in her own right. I believe 1,000-point scorer, etc. Any accolade you want to be able to throw. But we're just talking about the athletic acumen. Where do you feel like the average friend, Junebug, Green friend, or even Carter family friend would say that athletic acumen came from?
Be smart.
No, in all honesty, I would say they're very fortunate to have a good combination. Really, a good combination athletically. Both of my sons are athletically different, but they're both, and I would say athlete, because it's not just one thing that they.
Right.
So so I think that Belinda, a very good athlete, a very good basketball player. Belinda also won the tough man too, tough woman contest too. So I'm just saying.
Right.
And I played 3 sports in high school: track, cross country, basketball. So they get it. Honestly, well-rounded. They have cousins, uncles that are all athletes as well. So they've grown up around athletics, and also from an early age, their Uncle Jeremy was a middle school basketball coach.
Yeah.
So when I was at work, they were going to middle school basketball practice with their Uncle Jeremy. So they get it. I mean, they've been exposed at an early age. So I think they it's a combination.
Gotcha. So, in the immortal,
Good answer.
Safe answer too.
in the immortal words of Mr. Alto Bird, I said all that to say this.
To say that.
So I just want you to get this moment. Belinda's watching right now. I want you to go ahead and give her flowers in any capacity that you want to, and we'll come around third base from there.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to say that Belinda is the backbone of our family. When we talk about coaching, we talk about whatever else I do. I would not be able to do any of those things if I didn't have Belinda at home and a dependable, great mother to our children.
She said, "Be careful. You gotta come home. Be careful."
But no, in reality, just something as simple as making it easier and not more difficult. Because during basketball season, you could seem like a second priority because it's time consuming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on, but she gives us stability at home as a family. And being married, you go through transitions. You might start off this way. You might think it's going to go this way. Then there's another route you got to take, another adjustment you got to make. And so I'm thankful that she is a great mother to our children, and she gives them the ability to be who they are. Not only for me to be who I am, but she gives them the ability to be who they are. Something just as simple as if your child is sick and they don't want to go to school and they don't have to go to somebody else's house, what a blessing it is to have a mom at home where they can stay in the bed and rest and recover. So those things are vitally important, is to be able to have, because you cannot do anything on your own and be successful if you have children, especially multiple children, and you're married. They can make your life as miserable as they want to make it, or they can make it as great as they want to make it if they choose not to cooperate. And that's just life. So I'm very thankful for Belinda's patience, and also Belinda's, I would say, respect. Because one of the things when you have children, it's vitally important that the mother or the wife has respect for the father and the husband, because it sets the tone for the children respecting the father and the husband.
Right.
And so I thank her for trusting my judgment with our children when we may have disagreed. So that's vitally important, is to have stability in the home, and she makes it doable. And so because that's in place, there's some things I don't have to worry about outside the home.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
With my children.
You know that.
I don't have to worry about them.
Being a single father of four.
I don't have to worry about them, you know what I mean, talking to me crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's not an option. But secondly, if that respect is not given in the home, they can look at you differently. And that's a message to everybody out there. That allows stability, it allows cooperation, and allows things to move smoothly.
Nice.
Nice.
Shout out to Auntie.
So thank you, Belinda.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so we have a few more things I want to touch before we get up out of here. But I want to ask you to kind of even expound upon. Now that was that's your wife, but I also want you to expound upon the impact that your mother and even your father as well had upon, you know, how you view things, the values that you have in today's time, and what is it about your upbringing that makes you the man that you are today?
In one word, everything. I would say that I have been extremely, extremely blessed as a man, as a child, as a son, as a brother. And when I'll go back to that again. It's vitally important for children to have stability. No matter how that looks, it's vitally important for children to have stability. And I was always in a stable place and had a stable foundation. And that goes back to my parents, my mother and my father. Here's what I'll say. My mother could not have been who she was if my father was not who he was. And my father could not have been who he was if my mother was not who she was. And here's what I'll say. My mother, I would place my mother, I would take my mother against any mother
Right.
in the history of the world, past, present, or future. There's no better place or no better hands that I could have been placed in as a child than my mother's. I mean, y'all know my mother.
Yes.
Greene.
Shout out to Mama Greene.
Just the epitome of consistency, the epitome of, I would say, discipline, confrontation,
Right.
correction, respect.
So you gonna make sure you go to church.
Yeah.
I got a story.
Will and not ask for respect, but demand it.
Absolutely.
But she could. My mother can demand respect because of the life she lived and the what I saw in front of me.
Right.
It wasn't because she was just blowing her horn, but it was because of the example that was before me. And so, family for me is everything and has been everything, and it's the root of everything that I am, that I've learned, that I know, how I respond to people, how I interact with people, my relationships with people. My parents are the origin and the basis of that all. And I can say this. I have always been protected. I have always been loved. And that is the most important thing. No matter what, even in discipline and correction, I knew that I was loved. And the other thing is, if I'm not getting, what's up, Jonah? That's Mama Greene's favorite boy right there. That's Mama Greene's favorite boy. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Now, so Shine, me, Jeremy, Shine, and Jonah. Now, if we're going to go somewhere, we don't send Shine to do the talking.
Oh God!
Because Shine is going
I was
to.
already in trouble for the get-go.
He's going to get into an argument with Mama Green. If we're going to send somebody to talk to Mama Green, it's going to be Jonah Booker right there. Jonah Booker can get anything out of Mama Green. Yeah, because Jonah is going to go to her with love and affection. Shine's going to try to argue with her to prove his point. And she's going to say, Mr. Robinson, who do you think you are? You don't run nothing over here. So being that is, what I can say about my upbringing and my parents is that they've always, speaking of if you're a mother and you're raising boys, you're going to have to be tough. You're going to have a backbone, and you're going to have to be stern, and you're going to have to stand your ground. And so with that being said, is Shine right here, I mean, basically at one point just moved in with us. there was no discussion. There was no, this is the game plan. And we've had several people that would just move in with us, drinking all the Kool-Aid, eating all the snack cakes. But that is a just a mark of the where I come from, and without my parents providing that stability, love, correction, and most importantly, godliness from my parents and my grandparents.
Right.
Because the upbringing, it all starts with the relationship with the Lord and the rearing in the church.
Right.
That is the probably the centerpiece of everything, coming from my parents and my grandparents and all of that. But those are the things that are instilled in you that that keep you
Right.
in life.
Honey. Hey, she don't play games. If you say something, you give her your word, you better be there.
You better be there.
I'm at church when I call Shine. You coming to church today? Nah, I'm gonna just do Bedside Baptist. I said, bro, all right, go to church. Mama Greene, where's your friend? He said he's doing Bedside Baptist. She left church.
Oh.
Walked over to Bob's house. He's sleeping on the couch. Woke him up whooping, man. Hey, I love Mama Greene, man, but she'll call you. Hey, when you going, you know, I had experiences, man. Your mom was wonderful, man.
Yeah.
We going through it, and I don't know how she know, but I know she called me at them times when you by yourself,
Right.
going through it, pray for you, pray with you on the phone. Come and check on you, man. Great woman, Mama Greene.
Yeah, shout out to Mama Greene.
Shout out to Mama Greene.
Yeah, when I moved in with him, there was some rules, and that was you going to church on Sundays. But you know me, I was always scheming something. So I got the church schedule down. Papa Greene had to be out the door early. Mama Greene followed behind. You both like to get there on time too. But that Jeremy Greene, he gonna be late. But guess what? I roll with Jeremy. I'm riding with Jeremy. As long as you did before offering, you was good. When I get there after offering, you in trouble. You in trouble, bruh. Them my dudes, man. Shout out to Mama Greene.
But the biggest thing that was also taught, because I had older parents, came from older grandparents,
Right.
was respect was always instilled in the young people.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Now those are true stories.
So just for those that's following along, Mama Greene hit them with the holy oil before the wild dog in the CAY dance.
Hey, look, man, join the call, man. Come on, join the video real
I'm
quick.
surprised Mama Greene ain't on there.
Come on, Booker.
But again, she was a praying woman,
Absolutely.
and she's not afraid to confront you. No matter where you are, she's gonna confront you. And if you don't like being uncomfortable, you probably don't want to be around her, because it's going to be honest, and it's going to be, you might not like it at the time, but it's going to be out of love, because it's the situation. It don't have nothing to do with, because I'd be like, Mom, you can't.
Mama Greene caught me at Walmart back in high school trying to get a number. I didn't know she was behind me.
And
Whoopings.
but respect was always something that was instilled in us, especially respecting older people, respecting adults, and so that is
Crying, laughing, man.
that is top priority that was instilled in us, was respect, from my grandparents to my parents, not only just because they wanted us to respect them, but they also lived in a way that that demanded respect, and that was worthy of respect. And so many times we want respect from others, but we don't carry ourselves in a way that
Not a point.
that may not sort of, because whenever we think of ourselves, we take ourselves. Whenever people think of us, they think of a certain thing, no matter what it is, good or bad. So we have to be mindful, especially when we're dealing with young people, how we're carrying ourselves, because they're looking at us for an example. So and that's the one thing, I've always had a great example. I never had to look on TV. I never had to look on the internet. I never had to look at a star. What's up, Jonah?
We got a book on here. Can you hear us?
Out there in Arizona.
Hey, man, we in here
unmute your phone.
snowsuits.
Unmute your phone.
We in here snowsuits, man. You out there in shorts and
We can't
white
hear you.
beaters.
Jonah Booker,
It's out
we
there
can
hot.
hear you. Go ahead and
It's out there. hot.
unmute your phone so we
It's
can
true.
hear you.
What up?
Wifey?
What's up,
we can hear
Wiz?
you now. Hold on, let me turn this up, son. Let me see something.
Let's go ahead and
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit. You got.
look like you out on the
Hold on,
golf
bro.
course
Hold
or
on.
something.
Turn your phone up. Turn your volume up. Barely. Go ahead, though. Yeah. Man, it's 23 degrees here today, man. Man, nice. Look, everybody good? The family good? That's what's up. Shout out to Papa Bear, man. We get. Oh, hey, Book, you got any questions for Joe?
I think it's very possible. I think if they continue to work and stay focused and put in the extra work in the off season and continue to grow and develop, I think the sky is the limit for them.
Right. Back in the day.
Jonah brings a great point, and that's a great point. In our day, we used to play basketball all day long in the summertime.
For sure.
And he talks about the importance of getting the reps in and how that impacts your growth and development. And you don't realize it, but you're getting reps in all the time. You're working on your conditioning. You're working on your skill set. And so that's for me an encouragement to that class we were talking about, the 8th grade group, the 6th grade group, the younger groups coming up, is you have to put the time in. You have to put the effort in. Right. You have to develop your skill set. You have to work on competing and playing against better competition so that when you do play against better competition, it won't come as a surprise to you. You won't be in awe of them. You won't be in shock. It will be just natural to you. So that is a great point. Kids don't play by themselves like they used to.
Right. Right. For sure.
Hey, with the only person in the hood that had everything: baseball bats, football.
Hey, but
everything.
Jonah brings up a great point, and a person that I failed to mention is the great Jim Stanley.
Jim Stanley.
The great Jim Stanley. He was Jonah's, Raymond's, Jeremy's, mine, all our middle school basketball coaches, and he is and that's where
Football too.
Football too, but that's where we get our mentality defensively.
The mentality.
Everything comes to down the defense. Everything comes to diamond press,
Right.
center field, butt to the ball, all game long. That's where that
Right.
comes from, and that comes from that. Listen, that comes from Joe Sabaticki line of coaching.
Right.
That's where all that comes from, and it's defensive intensity all game long.
Right.
And it's make your opponent quit. And so that's where that comes from. And it's important to understand about getting reps and being in good condition, because the only way you're able to play at that level and with that intensity is you have to be in phenomenal shape. So that goes back to what I said earlier. My thing is I'm trying to be in better shape than everybody out there.
Yup.
Hey, Book, anything you want to shout out? People can check out some of your work.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, we appreciate you, bro. We love you, bro.
Appreciate
hey,
you.
me and Bob, we trying to come out again.
Bring the swim trunks.
Man, we love you, bro.
Good to see you,
Hey,
Jonah.
send
Hey,
love,
Jay.
yeah, send love to the family, bro. Yes,
Well, we
sir.
about to wrap it up because they ain't got no snacks or no drinks. So.
All right, bud.
All right, brother. All right, so we coming around home base now. So the last of it, I mean, we've touched on a lot of things, but as we close it out, I just want you to give any shout outs, anybody that you could think of between your kids. You've already talked about your wife and whatever. Anybody you want to shout out right now, go ahead and plug your G3 skills again. Whatever you want to talk about right now, go ahead and give a shout out for it before we get out of here.
Couple of things. One, first, it was great to be here with you guys for the initial Roots and Routes podcast.
Season 1, episode 1.
History, baby.
What we call it? The Relentless.
Yeah. Relentless. So,
History.
yes. So it was an honor to be here with you guys tonight to talk. Looking forward to the great things you guys are gonna be doing in the future. Couple of people that I want to shout out. First, I want to shout out my mother again, just for the amazing mother that she has been to me and my brothers. I want to shout out both of my brothers, Jeremy and Justin.
Jeremy and Justin.
I would not be the individual I am today without them helping to mold and make me the individual that I am. When you have brothers, you understand that it's not always all about you. There's a different perspective. There's a different opinion. There's personal space. There's personal stuff, and everything's not all about you. So you learn how to be in relationship with others, your peers, at an early age. And I love them both dearly. I just want to shout out to them to thank them for who they have been to me in my life. And my mother, but also want to shout out two individuals. Both of them are I would consider my lifelong pastors at Pleasant Green Baptist Church. One is Pastor Hearns. He was my childhood pastor all my life growing up.
Great man.
And also Pastor Parker, who another great man who was my childhood, was my pastor after Pastor Hearns left our church. But I want to just shout out both of these great men who have impacted my life in different ways, but the most important thing, they were men of high character.
Absolutely.
I never heard any mess about them in the streets. So I just want to just salute them, to let them know that that they both have had a tremendous impact on my life. For the time that I've been around them, they provided a great example as men to me, as leaders, and they've left a great example to follow. And Pastor Parker, being my uncle, he left a great legacy, and there's no greater life that you could probably try to emulate than his, as a servant in the community, school board member, president. Great impact to our youth as far as the summer outreach program growing up. A great mentor, a great father, a great husband, a great leader. So I just want to salute those two men for their impact that they've had, and the impact that they've had in my life, and the example that they've set for those who they have left behind, and those who have watched their lives.
Shout out
Great.
Pastor Parker.
Shout out Pastor Hearns, Pastor Parker. Definitely respect.
Hey, Herb soup you up too. He give you nice little soup bowl too.
And
Nice
and let me add that, since you brought that up.
He's nice with it.
Pastor Hearns, for years, had the coldest fade in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Absolutely.
The crispiest fade in Portsmouth, Ohio.
Facts.
I was getting soup bowls at home by Papa Green. All my buddies were getting faded, but yes, absolutely. An excellent barber.
A lot of people don't know that, man. Pastor Hearns was a heck of a barber, man.
Right.
Absolute best in his prime, wasn't he?
One of the OGs, for sure.
Any shout outs?
No, I'd like to thank you guys for having me. Like I said, this is Black History Month.
Right.
And this is history, the first ever live.
This is history.
I feel privileged, be here with my brothers, especially my brother Junebug.
Right.
And like I said, we got July Bug coming up and August Bug.
Yes,
Be on the lookout for them boys. And G3, Joe, where can you get the merch at? Let them know where you get the merch at.
Contact me. We got sweatshirts. We got t-shirts. We can hook you up. You want some merch? And if you're looking for training sessions, you're looking to develop skill set. Basketball season is winding down. We're into spring and summer sessions.
Yep.
One quote that I want to leave with you, posted in the Portsmouth Trojans locker room. Winter will ask summer. Winter will ask summer, what did you do to get better?
Right.
And it will never lie.
Never lie.
It will never lie. So
This is the time to get it in.
this is time to get better.
Yep.
Did you condition yourself? Did you work on your skill set? Did you compete? Right? And I'll say this, the last thing. To my parents. To my parents. Support your children in any way that you can. If you're not involved in your child's lives, get involved. And one of the things you have to understand is, after Biddy basketball, it's all about competing. You'll be competing against other teams, other schools, but you will also be competing against other players for position and playing time on your own team. So kids may have similar skill sets. Some may be more athletic. Some things may be more innate or come natural to some people, but the difference will be who's going to be willing to put in the work to develop their skill set. Put down the PlayStation and the Xbox and the laying on the couch, to actually invest and put time into your craft, whatever you're doing. And if you're approaching summer, you need to have a plan. You have a plan to get better academically. You need to have a plan to get better athletically, all encompassing. So have a plan moving forward. You want to connect with G3 Skills? We are here, we're available, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Love it, love it. Lastly, if you had a dream interview, somebody that we would have on the podcast, we would like to bring them on. We can bring them in live on location at the legendary 14th Street Community Center. We can also bring them in virtually. But who's somebody individually that you feel like, one or two people that you feel like would be a great person for us to interview at the Roots and the Routes podcast?
Well, my first thought would be Mr. Clarence Parker. That would be my interview in terms of experience, well-roundedness,
Right.
in terms of
He's been around.
he's been around,
He's been involved.
and also the connection of generations from
Right.
an older
For
generation
sure.
to being influential in the younger generation. So I think
He was an athlete in his own right.
athlete in his own right.
Right.
So
First integrated school too. He's the first.
Yeah.
so I think that would be a great interview. Also, Mr. Al Aller would be a great interview.
I like that.
That'd be a great interview right there. Those
Definitely.
are two right here in the back right there. That he would be a great
Scoop.
interview for the Roots and Routes podcast.
Love it.
And I think they will both have a lot of great stories, great advice, experiences to share, and I think they are individuals that others would want to hear what they have to say. So those would be my two moving forward.
What can I say, man? I'm overwhelmed with joy. This has been a great interview, a great time. And look, like I said at the beginning, if I could just think about all the people that we've ever looked at as like our hometown heroes, if they had the technology in their time to actually document their journeys when they was going through, man, that would have been something to witness. So we're just here at the Roots and Routes to do it for the rest of us. So we want you to follow us, Roots and Routes Podcast on Facebook. We're on all the platforms. We're on Facebook. We're on X, aka Twitter. We're on YouTube. Right. We're on TikTok. We're on Fanbase, Instagram. You name it, we're on there. So please follow us, and we'll send all the contact information within on our platform. So please.
And last but not least, go out and support the Portsmouth Trojans high school basketball team.
Yes.
Tomorrow night as they take on South Point
At South Point.
in the state tournament.
Right.
Or they'll be doing the district quarterfinals tomorrow.
Correct.
And then on Saturday, go support the girls who will be at Waverly at 12 p.m. So Trojans, go support the Trojans.
Go support them
Go Lady
Trojans.
Trojans.
Yes, indeed.
Hey,
So-
make sure. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm just saying, we go represent them, and we behind them 100%. So follow them, and we'll probably be along for the ride for them as well. So I want to give a little quick insight. We're gonna be right there on the ride, on the journey. Let's continue with the ride with them. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure y'all follow the Roots and Routes podcast here. Everybody that's live with us on Facebook. We won't be filming from my page. We'll be filming from the Roots and Routes. So we just need y'all to go there so we can get the.
Yeah, we got to get at least 100 subscribers, 100 followers. So I
Yeah.
think we're up to about 59. So we got about 40 more, almost 40 more to go. So keep liking, subscribe, share, follow.
Man. So yeah, just follow the page so y'all can catch us, because we're gonna start going live from the Roots and Routes. Yo, y'all did a great job, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
God bless. Thanks for letting me be the guinea pig.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
Bob. Thanks, Drew.
Yes, sir.
Mom
All right,
Dukes in the
man, peace.
background.
Yeah.
We couldn't make it without y'all either. We love you too. Thanks
All
for
right, man.
watching. Thanks for tuning in.
That
And
was,
good
that
night.
was a good
That
one.
was a good one, man.
First one. You go back and watch it.
Okay, we can go back and watch
The
it.
moments.
What happened to the YouTube one?
Oh,
Did it record?
Bro, hold on. Something went wrong. What? Whoa. Let me go back.
Hit the back button,
Man,
maybe.
come on, man. This is crazy.
You're still
So,
up, Drew, man.
Is it still up? What? Why isn't it saving?
You already got 1K views.
I'm trying to get. I'm trying to save.
Let's see.
Oh,
Enter payment. I don't want that yet.
okay.
This video will be deleted.
Really?
After 30
Yeah.
days to change in video storage. What?
1,100.
I can't save the video.
It's gonna hit about 4.
Can I save it?
yeah, you
That
can
on
save it.
YouTube?
So, let me see.
It hit about
Used to be able to go to
4.
that, but now it's not.
So, let's see.
Man, it used to be the little simple thing. Hit it.
Right, I know.
It ain't showing that.
Right.
It ain't used to say it's gonna delete after.
What happens if you hit that with them 3 dots?
Go right here.
Okay.
It's up on, it's still on,
How do I-
it's
how do I-
still on Drew's page. You got 1,100 on your page right now, Drew.
For real.
Views.
I acted up at one point. I had to redo it or something. But
So how do I stop it, or what do I got to do?
I think just.
Let's see. I don't know how to finish this.
We got 1.1 thousand already.
Really?
Yeah.